Right now the sun's not, but it's gonna.
Together. Oh, okay. Is this supposed to be working? Okay. Thank you all so much for being here today. It's wonderful to see each and every one of you again. It's not the way I would have liked to have seen you. But thank you all for being here and helping me. Rolling those from me. Just corner. It's way too far away from me. It's giving me all the strength in the world. Can we all just take a deep breath in together? And let it all go through the eyes. Waters wasn't just someone who told stories. He was one of the greatest storytellers to ever walk this earth. He loved to tell stories. Yes, but more than that, he loved to make them. If you spent 5 minutes with him, you were suddenly woven into one. One of our favorite words from the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows is sonder. The realization that every person you pass has a life as rich, complex, vivid, and intricate as your own. That someone else's story you might be nothing more than an extra or a passing light as they're driving by in their window. But Waters was never just an extra. Waters was a character, and we all know it. He was a main character to everyone in this room. He played more roles in one lifetime than most people dream of. He was a son, he was a brother, a friend, many people's best friend, a boyfriend, and my husband. He was a student, a teacher, an apprentice, and a mentor. A cannabis cultivator, a plant geneticist, a snowboard instructor, a salesman, a landscaper, a builder, a mycologist, a glass blower, a hot springs instructor, or a hot springs caretaker, an arborist, a sanitation specialist, and lastly, on his death certificate, a roofing inspector. He was the shaman sage. He was the charismatic cult leader we all teased him about. He was a joker, a smoker, a midnight coker. He was our space cowboy, and definitely no, he was a gangster of love. He was a mover, a shaker, and a breaker. He was a trickster, a party animal, actually a tigger, to be precise. He was a mischief maker, and yes, sometimes he could be an asshole too. But every version of him came from the same place. A heart that ran deep. Emotionally, Waters wasn't a bowl or a cup. He was the ocean, fast and unpredictable, wild and tender. Capable of holding more love, more chaos, more humanity than any single person should. He didn't just love you. He loved with you. He could touch your heart, flip your perspective, challenge you, change you, and make you want to be better. His vision was simple: minimize his carbon footprint and maximize his human imprint. His intention was literally written on his skin, tattooed on his right wrist, for every handshake. Remember why you came. To him, that meant to teach everyone he met to be a being of love. He had joked for years that he was shocked he had survived past 30. And again, he was shocked he survived past 40. Some part of him always knew he wouldn't be an old man. We had discussed his funeral many times. And I'm telling you, this is exceeding his expectations. But he lived. Oh God, he lived. There's another word from that same book, Nyosi. The private, untranslatable story that forms between two people. Every one of you has a Nyosi with Waters. Your own chapter, your own universe with him in it. And now comes mine. Because to me, Waters wasn't just all those roles. He was my husband, my bestest friend, my mirror, my coolie, my partner in crime, who was my home. We were two rivers that became one. My mathematical brain calculated it. For 29.8% of the days he walked on this earth and 33.4% of my hours, he walked beside me, woven into the fabric of my world. Our Nyosi was deep, complicated, beautiful. No one has ever known me the way that he did. That is the heartbreak of love. How the closest person you can hold, or how the closest person to you can hold universes you will never see. But I knew the essence of him. I knew his laughter, the real one, the chest deep one. I knew his softness, the tenderness behind the bravado. I knew the dreams he whispered only in the dark. And he knew me in a way no one else ever has. That was our story, our Nyosi, and I will carry it for the rest of my life. So today, as we gather, I ask that we share our stories, laugh, cry. Let's remember the chaos and the beauty, the pieces of him that we each carry. On the memorial webpage, you'll find a guest book and a Google album. Please leave your favorite water story, the moment he blew your mind, the feeling he stamped in your heart, or the way he rearranged your entire life plan in a single conversation. Write it, film it, interpret it, dance it, if that's your vibe, just share it with us. And you're welcome to come up here. We will hold space for people to come up, and I will open the floor. We are recording all of these stories because we want these stories to become part of the legacy that his daughter grows up with. Let his child grow up surrounded by the stories that shaped her father. Let us carry his story forward. His story forward together. Thank you for helping to keep his story alive. For little Ayla James, whom we pray arrives healthy and strong. Wrapped in all the love her father left behind. Thank you for being here, and thank you for loving him. Oh.
Elizabeth. I'm James-Garrett's sister. Death leaves a void, a heartache no one can heal, while love leaves a memory no one can steal. An Irish saying that resonates with me. I cherished Garrett from the beginning. I watched him come into this world. I guarded him. I will carry his memory in my heart and will protect him until my end. Because that's just what sisters do. We were supposed to grow old together, laughing, crying, cringing, along the way, witnessing the stories. We would talk about our parents, how much we loved them, how protective we were of them, and of our brother Ben. Garrett strived to be the best son and sibling he could be. I find peace in the knowledge of how openly and honestly he loved his parents and his siblings, and how much he loved him. He had plans for the future, for birthdays, to care for our parents as children do. We were a team. We are a team. I promise I continue. With my eyes to the sky. Garrett and I were away from each other for a time, and gratefully we reconnected a couple of years ago. Since then, we never missed an opportunity to celebrate and support each other. We checked in all the time, made visits and trips, enjoyed time together. We spoke for hours. I will forever cherish his countless messages and texts, many just one-liners. Some of our texts would be just, hey, you're amazing. I love you. I hope you have the best day. And remember that you deserve it. Remember how proud I am of you. We believed in each other and each other's strengths. We reminisced, looked to the future while never forgetting to enjoy the present. We were so thankful for being each other's sibling. Garrett loved Ben and was a watchful and protective big little brother. Ben was always in his thoughts. Garrett and my husband Noah became true siblings. I would watch them sit with all the kids on the couch together on our back porch. They would talk and laugh and discuss. The hardest I've ever laughed is when they get together, a raw comedic banter without missing a beat. They admired each other for who the other was, and they realized each other's gifts. Garrett loved his nieces and nephews hard. He was to them like he was to all the children he met. Magic. He was the proudest uncle, and he made sure they knew it whenever he spoke to them. He never left an opportunity on the table to say that being their uncle was a cherished gift to him and truly one of the best parts of his life. They admired him. He was of mythical stature. They will miss Uncle Bear deeply. James-Garrett was there for everyone, whether it was matters of the heart, of the mind, a garage door light, a stumble in life, a move, a bathroom remodel. He was there with open mind, heart, and arms. He gave of himself freely. He always did the right thing because it was the right thing to do. He loved his fellow man. He turned the other cheek, and he cared about the next generation. He walked the walk. He was a role model, and we are all better for having known him. While the end came without notice, and far, far too soon, I am so thankful for my time with him. It gives me peace and comfort to know that nothing was left on the table between us. We knew how fiercely and honestly, he knew how fiercely and honestly he was surrounded by love. He was a treasured part of our lives. We will always keep his memory alive. We will guard it. He was truly a gift to the world. He was a gift to us. He was a gift to me. I could not stay another day to love, to laugh, to work or play. Tasks left undone must stay that way. And in my parting has left, and if my parting has left a void, then fill it with remembered joy. Forever, Garrett, I will be loving with you. I love you.
we met camping next to each other. We were instant best friends. And then my husband were like inseparable. Like an uncle and my kids. We did a lot of stuff together that was really fun. And we did a lot of stuff together that was really hard. And that, I think, wraps up James. And of course, leaving us would not be easy. It was hard. James left us a beautiful baby. He was so scared. Ashley couldn't come here because she's late. She's geriatric pregnancy, and the stress is lying, and that baby's so precious. But she's here in heart, and she sent me a message, and she wants to play it for you guys. So, the mother of Connor's beautiful daughter, Ayla, has a message, and I don't know if I can Bluetooth to this thing, or if I should just play it on my, I feel like I think.
Put it up on my phone and put it up to the mic, or put the mic up to your phone.
James always seemed like someone set apart from everybody else. One of my earliest and fondest memories of him goes back to Glastonbury, Connecticut, our hometown. We were at Academy, which was actually the town hall. They were using it to house us sixth graders. There he was. He was quiet, but loud, busy, but calm. Definitely the first in our class to rock a sick pair of Jacobs. The Zero logo adorned his t-shirt. He had a wallet chain. What really struck me was the purple hair. He told me recently that Q had done that solid dye job. The piping hot Kool-Aid nights, like he said. She wanted him, and he wanted, to look amazing for his school pictures. It was a fond memory that he shared with his sister. He caught my attention immediately. I felt somehow close to him before we ever spoke. James just had that way about him his entire life, even as his skater passion evolved into an array of colorful fabrics. Nothing he ever wore, nor the style of his hair, could compare to the aura he carried when he entered into your shared space. From an early age, I knew this was a magical human. He was beautiful, unique, magnetic, and funny as heck. And that smile. Oh my God, that smile. He was somebody I wanted to know. In light of his passing, I've asked myself over and over and over again and searched my soul for any meaning to all of this. I turned the question around in my mind during the quiet moments and sleepless nights, hoping that if I examined it on a forensic level, from every angle, something would reveal itself. Some explanation. Some reason that might soften the weight of what we've all lost. How could there be meaning when his absence has left such an enormous hole in the space that we shared? A hole in the life we were actively building together. The future that was already unfolding, and our baby that he was so excited to welcome into this world. For leaving behind our boy he loved as if he were his own, without hesitation, without condition. and in the dreams we talked about, planned for, and wholeheartedly believed in. How could there be purpose in something that causes this much pain? It feels impossible to reconcile the depth of this loss with the idea that it serves some greater good. Because what it's taken is not abstract. It's deeply personal. It's taken laughter that filled rooms. It's taken the presence that made life feel fuller and brighter. It's taken love that was active, intention, and still growing. Our baby girl only grew up to the stories we shared and photos, not by his touch or his loving voice. It's taken a future that felt certain simply because James was in it. And yet, even as I wrestled with that question, how this could possibly mean anything, I know that the pain itself speaks to the magnitude of who he was. The whole exists because something extraordinary once filled it. The devastation is only this great because the love was real. It was deep, and it was irreplaceable. My words won't magically reveal those answers, but I've made myself and James a promise. One I will honor, and it's because of the things that I've already learned, the ways in which I've been forced to recognize the things within me that require growth. And I will live my life very, very differently moving forward. James was a teacher. Why should that change now? I think we can all agree it shouldn't. In honoring James, I hope a big part of his legacy is inspiring us to find those pieces within us that need growth, that need grace and resolve, so that we may all better our lives and self-love in his name.
Thank you for letting me present that. I have a little book on the table back there for Ayla. So if anybody would like to write stories for Ayla. James was the most amazing, bestest friend ever, and the most amazing human. And anything that can be kept, to hold, to share. So someday when his daughter's looking for who her dad was, if you guys want to write anything down, if you feel called to, please do. I love you all so very much. I love James so very much, and I'm not really a wordsy person, so.
Archery taught me the kind of attention the forest knows well. How to listen for what's not spoken, how to sense a moment shifting before it breaks, how to hear the faintest sound talking about the quiet. And in that stillness, I learned this: you never get the same shot twice. Every moment comes once, asking us to meet it with our whole heart. James moved through life like he understood that instinctively. James played a few roles in my life. He was my first boyfriend. The first person I ever said I loved him to. And in that season, he handed me a map of how I should be treated, how love should feel steady instead of sharp, and how care could exist without conditions. That mattered. That became a part of my foundation. But that beginning, as important as it was, it's not what defined friendship that lasted a lifetime. James' truest role in my life was Brandon, family to choose. He became my raver buddy, hopping on trains and buses and cars, dancing on speakers, counting heads at sunrise, making sure everybody made it home, not because he needed control, because he couldn't stand the thought of someone slipping through the cracks. And over the time, that instinct deepened. Spent a decade, 10 whole years, saving our friends from themselves, dragging people out of fires and pretending that weren't burning us too, playing paramedics to the wounded, pastors to the broken, heroes to the helpless, because lifting others was much easier than turning inward. That was James. That was always James. He was the life of the party, not because the party needed saving. I feel that it's because he couldn't stand to see anything half-lived. My boy didn't nibble at life. He didn't test joy. He cleared the whole damn table. It's like he was racing the sun, trying to keep the night alive just a little longer. Archery teaches us that the intensity is its own language. Some souls pull the bowstring back with everything they have because they're afraid the moment might vanish if they hesitate. Maybe he lived that way because he was scared of endings, people leaving, the quiet when his heartbeat got too loud. Every single person in this room has a favorite James-Garrett story. And don't play cute, I know you're not going to hold back because I know you do. It's because James moved through our lives like a man with a divine assignment, an open door, key in human form. One of his favorite sayings when we were kids was, knowledge was the key, then show me the lock. He had this holy gift to step into a fight at peace. Animal was scared, calm. He heard a voice crack mid-sentence and somehow lift the pain before a tear could fall. He was built with God's own steady hands, and he didn't even know it. I want to share something personal, not to censor myself, but to honor how grief gathers us in places we never thought we'd stand. I was born between Matamoros, Mexico, and Brownsville, Texas, a border town that taught me that the line is young and my people range. My family and ancestors left their footsteps across Mexico and across what is now called the Southwest of America. Of all the places I've been in my life, I had somehow never found my way here, to this beautiful land James called home. Now I stand in it. I understand why I called him. This land didn't just hold James, it shaped him. The desert has a way of building men who are both fierce and tender. Men who learn how to survive the heat, still offer shade. Now that I stand, I see him everywhere. Most of us who traveled here didn't expect that losing you, James, would be the thing that brought us here all together on this ground. But in a way, very much your style and your final act, you pulled all your people in the same circle. There is something both gut-wrenching and quietly healing about standing here today, side by side, held together by love, by loss, by the impact of your life. In my culture, there's a saying that speaks in heart and path. De en buen corazón nace buen camino. From a good heart comes good path. And James, you walk the world with a heart big enough to light the roads of everyone around you. A heart that gave, that lifted, steadied others even when it was tired. And sometimes the places in our lives feel small and forgettable and end up being the crossroads where everything changes. Somehow, Glastonbury, Connecticut is just a small slice of my own history. I met the most impactful human I have ever known. Not just him, his boys, the ones that loved him too, the ones that helped shape the man he'd become long before I crossed his path. Before life sharpened around the edges, before distance turned into years, there was that Glastonbury version of you, steady, fearless, and funny, already becoming exactly who you would be. Archery teaches us that some forces must be felt, not fought. The way the wind shifts, the way the world tilts, just before the release. That lesson found me again the day you tried to teach me how to ride a bareback. You said, let go of the clutch slowly. And I said, like this? And of course I let go of it way too fast. The bike shot into a wheelie. The world tilted backward. Our skulls cracked together, and still you never let go of the handlebars. That was you, James. Wild enough to flip the world up upsy daisies and steady enough to hold on through the chaos. He's the kind of boy that could launch you by accident and catch you on purpose. Archery says the bow must bend before it can release anything beautiful. And James bent more than anyone I ever saw. He carried more tension than one soul should ever have to hold. And James, you carried everyone till your back bowed, your knees buckled, and none of us realized you were breaking, but you were out saving the world. I wish you had given just a handful of that tenderness back to your own spirit. I wish you had learned yourself the way you memorized other people's storms, turned your jokes, smiles, presents, and shelter for the hurting. Losing you feels like someone ripping my map of my younger self's hands. Like the roads I used to walk, folded into dust. You were a compass, a lantern, a landmark, and now that world feels unmarked, unlit, and unfair. You were the joke that takes silence, the spark in every dim hallway. You were the gravity that kept all of our loose pieces from floating away. And I'm mad at you. I want to offer that truth like a prayer. I am mad. I am mad that you slipped out the back door without letting us catch you. I am mad that you fought for everyone except yourself. I am mad that the world took from you without asking, and you gave anyways. Because giving was the only language your soul spoke fluently. Love is louder than anger, and louder than grief, and the questions we'll never get to ask. So, hear us. You mattered. More than you ever knew, more than you honestly believed, and more than this world deserved. And to your daughter, Ayla James, to the little one not yet born, our hearts ache from losing James, but he already lives in you. Your arrival will let us see James grow once more in a world more gently than the one he carried. May the ancestors guide your steps, and may those who love your father hold soft watch the path you're coming to. To Sister Q, I would never claim to know the full story that belonged to only you and James. Siblings live a whole lifetime together before any of us meet them. But I do know this. Some connections stay alive beneath the surface, even when years of distance settle it. And today we honor that bond and its complexity, its history, and its true love. James' mother, Liz, I say this with all my heart. Thank you. Thank you for bringing this incredible God into our lives. That soul streaked across our skies, brilliant, brief, beautiful, like everything he touched before returning to whatever universe created him. We are better, every single one of us, because you brought him here. I know when a mother loses their child, it tilts the world on its axis. And the only thing I can offer you is my friendship and my love. And my support for as long as I am here. To James's father, I never had the honor of knowing you, but as I stand here on this land, I understand something about the man your son became. This ground carried strength, grit, and resilience, the same qualities James carried into every room he ever walked into. Thank you for building the ground that raised him, the ground that now holds all of us as we say goodbye. To his friends, to every person who came near and far, East Coast to West Coast, thank you for allowing me the honor to speak today. James was loved by so many. I don't think a lifetime would hold enough time to name every heart he touched. Standing here is not something I take lightly. I speak with gratitude, with all the humility this moment deserves. Rest easy, James. Save me a seat. And when our paths cross again, I'll remember what you taught me. I'll let go of the clutch slowly this time. The way an archer releases the string, with intention, with respect for the moment, love for the target you were in my life. Buen camino, mi amigo, mi vida, mi luz, mi corazón, hasta siempre, el hombre el que llamaban agua. Just to go off script really quick, I've been staying on the property, and I needed a space to be alone with my thoughts. I didn't know, I hadn't seen most of you in 20 some odd years, so I didn't know what to expect. So I wanted to be able to be available, be useful, but be away if I had to be. And in the past 24 hours, I have been able to just live through all of you getting this pieces of James, the amount of time it's spent with you. I never thought that you would be so incredibly healing to my grieving. Each and every one of you connecting and listening to his stories, I feel him everywhere. This was, I knew this was going to be hard, but I'm grateful to be met with the love and compassion and kindness of what held James out in the West. And thank you for letting me speak.
Justin, first time I met James, Waters, and Garrett, or Kanuwodi, or Amayi, man with a million names and a million spirit animals. Spirit fruit. He questioned me and my intentions with women. The woman in question was my sister. Knowing that, he still persisted to question, who does this guy think he is? He was a direct reflection of me and everything I aspired to be. A cosmic warrior of peace and compassion. He was the best with words, and I will always cherish my times sitting with Waters, usually in water, doing wasu, or just bobbing around like hippos. Club. Waters, you were forever ingrained as the protective, fun, admirable uncle to my daughters and to your nieces and nephews, who you love so much. Hearing about how nervous you were to become a father was natural. And I was excited for you because there was no doubt in my mind that you would have been the best father and protector and confidant that you had shown everyone else that your light shined upon. For every hard time and struggle, there were equally so many amazing moments we shared together. You lived a rich, full life with so many experiences that truly rivaled that of the epic of Gilgamesh. I am a better man because of you. You are and forever will be my cosmic brother. I love you with all my heart. Jungle cats, gator fam, baby gorillas forever. Thank you for blessing my life and teaching me how to walk with honor, grace, and intentional living. I love you so much, my Bertan, my Bertella, my cosmic twin, Meta. P.S. In a world of self-proclaimed shamans and gurus, he was the real deal. of my favorite quotes was, hard work's hard, and we do the work. Thank you. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to speak?
This is sort of better to leave, Mike.
Yes.
This one is, I think the story, I can talk about it. I think the story that I think about when epitomizes who James is. He came out to visit us when we were in Philadelphia. And we went into Philadelphia to just have a met him in town. And it was winter. It was rainy and cold. We walked outside the bar. There's a homeless woman sitting on the ground. Asking for change. James didn't have any change. So he took off his brand new jacket and gave it to her. So he spent the rest of the night walking around the city in a t-shirt and cold white weather. And just feel like he bestowed unconditional love on friends and strangers alike. I feel like one of the greatest gifts that James gave was that for me. I would strive to make sure that his unconditional love for me didn't feel misplaced. And I always wanted to push myself to be a better human, to make sure that James' love for me was deserved. His health was good of human beings. I just think that story, it's just James, selfless. Selfless to a fault. Never thought of himself. I had conversations with him just about carrying so much weight and so much sadness for other people. And again, every moment he smiled. He said, he made the analogy that he was like a katana, that just the constant pound and pressure made him stronger. And truly did. His presence made all of us stronger.
He's always there for you, always, no matter what your ask was. He was there. And what I remember the most about him and how he was there for me the most is when my father died. And we had a TB meeting, and I was the patient. I asked him to hold the fire in that meeting. And without hesitation, he said, absolutely. labored on that fire while we gathered in prayer and song. And he worked so hard, and he played hard as well. And at the end of that TV meeting, when the roadman said there was a lot of medicine left, and was left over, he said the patient has to finish the rest of the medicine. And I sat there with this gigantic bowl of peyote. And I looked around the circle and I said, I'm willing to share if anyone will help. Everyone was silent. And he said, I'll help. And the group of us finished that big bowl of medicine and carried on into the sunrise. It was a beautiful thing. And a year later, we held a spirit release for my father. And he held that fire that night too. And after that ceremony, he sat with me and he said, you will be here with me when we do this for my dad. And Dad, I hope to do that with you for him.
I'm Jesse. I met James right there in that room right back there. This was a horse barn. And it was all just, full of horse shit and everything else. And he was starting to remodel when he came up to work here. And I think it was like the second or third day, he came to me and I was parked out there and he said, I got bit by a scorpion. And I'm like, and he'd been taking the walls down in here and there was all kind of dead scorpions in there. And one had fell in his bag the night before. And he stuck his hand down in there, and it was actually a dead scorpion, just the end of it had jabbed him. And so then a couple hours later, he comes and says, this thing's really hurting. And I didn't know him yet, so I didn't know how tough he really was. And he really was tough. He handled more pain than most people. That's where I had a connection with him, because I went through a lot of pain. And so finally, I'm like, about the third time he came over, another hour later, I was like, okay, jump in the truck, and I took him down to the fire station. I just didn't know for sure, what was going to happen. And he was okay, but it hurt really bad for a couple of days. And I guess one of the best memories I have of James really coming through, how he would really help you when you needed it, is I was driving down Stronghold Road, and for some reason I seen a cow had fell in a big trench out there. And was caught in one of the ravines that open up where the water goes in. And I called him and he came flying over there and we worked for hours and hours with chains and everything to try to save that animal. And so he was truly a person that would always come through when you needed him, and I always appreciated that he could fix everything. There wasn't nothing that he couldn't fix. So that was one thing that was really nice, was having him working. And I never knew what to call him, James, Water, or Garrett, but he finally said, okay, just call me James, because I always forget to say Water. So I was really glad I got to meet him and he was in my life.
James-Garrett, a.k.a. Waters, is my son. Is my son. He will always be is in my life. And Waters is such a fitting name for him. When he was small, we traveled. We were near the spa, the ocean, bathtub, pool. beside me and wait for me to go. And it took once for me to realize. Yeah, interesting. And he is done. It was hard on him. Expect such perfection. He wanted to truly be what we saw him as, and we didn't think he was that, but he was, wasn't he? So was Jesus. Just unbelievable. So much joy. Even tiny things. I need to do it. Shortly after he married Coral, wrote a piece. Dear son, as your mother, I expect that you have lived a life, you have exercised bad judgment, you've gone through adolescence and made some mistakes. I expect you will get your finances in order. I know that you are truthful in all that you do. I know that you love with your whole heart. I love you deeply. I know that you found your soulmate. Take care of each other. And these little things would come to me. And over the last year, but really since March, it's almost like I knew this was coming. He knew he was 12, 13, 14. He said he didn't think he would be under control. He just kind of knew. And maybe it was because he went to the ground for everyone he came across. He just loved so much. March, I can't remember what happened. February, March, April. A piece came to me in the middle of the night. I got up and I wrote it down. And this is it. Garrett goes to God before I do. This is what I will tell the world. Whenever there was need, he gave. Whenever someone suffered, he comforted. If no one else had time, he was there. Whenever the sun was shining, it was his. He glorified it. He loved the sun. Whenever it rained, he rejoiced and danced in it. We did that at the ranch. It was a lot of rain there. It was like 19 inches a year, according to the picture. And when it would rain, we'd go outside, and whatever state of dress we were, and we'd dance around that driveway like fools. Wherever a story needed to be told, he told it. Whenever someone needed to be heard, he listened. Wherever there was pleasure, he enjoyed it. Wherever there was love, it was his. If we ever questioned, he answered. And if we ever doubted, he understood. He was our friend who was needed. He was my son, and he loved me. Whenever there was doubt, he would scout about, be it Arizona, Connecticut, England, New York, Colorado, Wyoming, Hawaii, Peru, Costa Rica, and I'm sure many of you can get me places. He came and went, like the wind sometimes. He was always sure to be there for you. He always gave a damn for his fellow travelers, whether he knew him or not. He gave himself to us, and we are better for it. Your brother, friend, your husband, your father, your cousin, my beloved son. I will see you soon. Thank you for all the lessons I've learned with you. Thank you for your never-ending patience with me. It's been a wonderful life. I will see you soon. And I often told him to never underestimate his strength, because he was one of the strongest people I knew, even though he was fragile. He was strong, he was both arms. So never underestimate your strength, your worth, or your ability, because I will believe in you forever. And I think he knew that we all believed in him. And he just tried to be bigger and more. And, you know, God's was the biggest heart. In the last 3 or 4 months, he's called me weekly, bi-weekly, sometimes in tears saying, I have to get on a boat. I have to go. I have to go. I can do something. I know I can do something. So I think I know where he's headed. You know? And I don't know if he's going to be a baby born that will survive and then change, or in that birth, or because he's coming armed with all the stuff that we know he's got, or if he will grow into someone who will come later. I don't know. He's definitely on that track. I can feel. I started writing down some things, but there's so many pictures. His nieces and nephews, no children. You know, just, he wasn't the Pied Piper. He was Candy. He was ice cream. Storyteller. He was we were children sometimes when he was with us. Oh God, Ben, he just loves you. Just so many stories with all these pictures. Wonderful. It'd be wonderful if we have a copy of this, we can get stories written up. The hijinks they did. Look at this thing. Isn't it just the epitome of I'm here. I'm here. Izzy and Finn, somewhere out in the audience, we climb like Uncle Bear. He and gave me these not cane harnesses, professional climbing harnesses. And the shoes, Izzy now climbs competitively. Not to point it out. Says, Penny, are you pushing it? Are you legal to climb? Or are you just going to do it because you know you're good at it? You're good at it. He has such joy in doing it. Giddies, your imagination, your imagination, your drawings. Somewhere I've got a file of the things he invented. James-Garrett felt he had solved, what was it? Fusion or fission? It was one of those. Complete with a diagram. I think he was in 5th grade, 6th grade with a car and a diagram and labels, and I mean he's always been in his earth, no matter what it was. No matter what it was. His brothers. He was an honorary killer. He was an honorary, you know, just to say a word, I didn't think, because in some ways this is a colder cold than is imagined. Look at his face. Look at Kitty. Yeah, I see. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking about when you tried to convince me to go to I lost it. I'll take you to. Oh, I love the ocean. Cape Cod. How old were you? He was 6, 7? You were 10, 9, 10? They failed me there. We were on a beach, we were friends, along the beach. And there was a wicked riptide right a foot into the water. Steps into the water. Vanishes, I'm talking about. Vanished down the beach, gone. And a brother, a friend of ours, 100 yards down the beach, reached in, pulled him out. Just as he went by. And his response was, his response to so many of his experiences, right? About the railing. And the understanding. The dreamer. Oh, everything you introduced him to Kelly was just, he held in his heart. His brothers, their weddings, funerals, family reunions, these remarkable Irish family reunions he went to. And the photographs. His dog, many of you know Sage. Sage came back from Florida with this. He went when she was 6 weeks old, and he stayed there. And he came back when she was 8, 9, I can't remember how many weeks old. And when he came back, he would say, sit, and she would sit. This little tiny, less than 2-month-old puppy. And just, love to see it. Some of the parents were more tolerant of the hijinks than others. I just put my mud boots on and went out into the street. The life out here always in his heart. He was born in Tucson, home birth, which is within an hour or so of being born, from my belly up to my shoulder and straight there from my heart. Oh!
You'll have that dance.
His new home today. I said, kind of a similar sign that we could take a picture of that would show, you guys. And they were ready to do a full moon. I hope his daughter. Sage had no teeth left. She played ball. They balls. They were rocks. Big ones, little ones, rocks. And if you took it away and threw it in the wind, she'd go get it. And if you hit it, she'd find it. His heart, and Kelly, Coralie will have to help me with this. Raja would walk with them, with Raja and Raja ran up on the back stoop of the neighbor's house. And the neighbor shot him in front of Garrett. Oh no. Well, you got there, right? You were there. good because I can't read them.
So, in June, just after my birthday, we were getting ready to go on a hike. And we started to go and we realized, wait, we should probably have water and our sunglasses. So I was upstairs grabbing our sunglasses, water was filling a hot water bottle, and a gunshot rang. And then another. We thought that's weird. We ran outside, and Allegra, little grandmother of the canyon, 90-year-old woman, came running up crying, saying she shot him. We shot him. And we came there and we found Raja, who had been hit by 2 hollow-point bullets. It was one of the hardest moments of our entire lives. It wrecked him. It destroyed him. For the next year, I hiked alone because Walter just didn't want to hike without his dog. But on my birthday, the next year, we hiked to Havasupai Falls. And we forgot our water. We only had beer, but we didn't want that. And on the whole walk back, we were picking up all this junk food trash that we didn't really want to get back. And he decided to go sit in one river, and I sat in another. He began to ask God, why are humans mean to each other? Why do they hurt each other? He said, but how? How can Israel and Palestine ever forgive each other if I can't forgive the neighbor across the street? Whoa. My own self, I was writing in my journal, and I wrote the same thing. How can we have world peace? If I can't forgive the neighbor across the street, how can Israel and Palestine ever forgive each other? I want to bring food and forgive the neighbor. And James is walking, and he picks up a ring, where he notices a shiny thing in the water, and he picks out a ring. This isn't my ring. He sets it back down. He comes back to me. He says, I have to tell you something. Okay, I have something to tell you first, but I've at least got mine written down, so you go. He says, Israel and Palestine can't forgive each other. I want to bring up food. And I literally just pull up my book, and I showed it to him. I'm going to refrain from telling the rest of the engagement story. I don't know if this is the right place. But that's where he found the ring in the river that didn't fit my finger, but fit his. And he made us walk on a warm river and a cold river. And he asked me, will the 2 rivers become one? And when we came home, we packed a bag of food. I made a loaf of bread. I filled a dozen eggs. And we walked over to Terry's home and knocked on the door. We told him, I forgive you. Terry cried, and he said to James, you are the man I always wish I could be. I know that if I was broken down on the side of the road and I needed somebody to fix my tire, no matter how much you hate me, you would stop. I know I cannot be that man, but for the rest of my life, I'm going to try harder to be a man like you.
Wow. And he didn't do these things because he would get into heaven or anything, or someone would notice, or any of that. He did it because it was right. I don't care. He just did what was right. The only thing I wish we had in here was a pillow fight. Love his travels. Love everything. Write your stories. Send them to, let's share the stories. I mean, we'll keep us going and show us the path. It would be this easy or this hard. Where is it?
Well, as I said, we could probably keep going. Oh, can we go? Got a few more.
What a fine group of people he brought together. Just like his name, Kanuwodi. It means healing waters in Cherokee. And I just remember the day he was born. And in Tucson, we had a midwife. We didn't go to any hospital or anything. Staying close to where his aunt lived. Or actually, she had left with her family and on somewhere, but they had turned the house over to us. And I just remember my daughter who was watching Snow White. Alice in Wonderland in the next room. And we were on the floor, on top of our Pendleton blanket. And his mom was squeezing my hand so hard that they could ever use it again. And his sister would come in every so often. Push, push, push! And then go back and watch TV. And she'd come in, push, push, push! And he came out so easy. He laid him on Mom's belly. And his eyes were wide open on his mom's belly. And he was looking at the wonder of the world that he was going to conquer. And aspirated his mouth and his nose. He took his first breath. And he smiled. Like it was good to be here. And we let him relax for a while, and then I cut his cord. And he was with us from that on. Just remember the looks in his eyes on his mom's belly, which was so magical and so in wonderment of being here. And I know, boy, he sure just to get me to get things done. Then I assumed the responsibility to do, and we got it done. And you all were there for the magic. This is not my first rodeo, but it's I never was a bull rider, so this is kind of like my first step. I just thank you for all being here and sharing your love with this marvelous boy. He's my beastie boy. Yeah. And he enjoyed that name. And we did some pretty marvelous things on occasion that are deep seated in my heart. And he's brought an incredible amount of people together. That's what his name meant, healing waters. So it's really good to see all of you here who loved him. And I know he loved you because he spoke about just about everyone. I don't remember all the stories because I'm pretty out there. And one of the last things I do remember was that, we had some gully washers a couple of years ago. And I couldn't make it, but he went up and did the white water underneath the dome. And took a selfie with just soaking wet, and behind him, that's all you could see was white water. And he was just smiling at that grin he had. You know how to have fun. And you know how to be sad too. So he's up there with these dogs now. And when they bring him on the other side of that bridge, just make me. I really love that boy. And that's what we need to keep in mind. This love to spread wherever we went. And this is probably the hardest one I've had to handle. He's a good boy. Yeah, hard to grow. And I miss him.
Yeah, James was my brother. When his hair was long, like at the wedding, and then see after. We were at a festival, or we were at fish sticks in Colorado, and we're sitting there. My girlfriend at the time, our anniversary was also the same day as his birthday, so we celebrated. We celebrated him, and then it was like kind of late night, and he walked by her, and it's all good fun. He like smacked her, my girlfriend, in the butt, and I was like, oh, whatever. And so I walked up and I said, hey, man. I was like, we're men now. I'm like, I don't care that you did that at all. Like, literally, I don't. It's just a fun little thing. But like, we're men now. We don't need to do that, you know. We're standing up for what's right, and you do that, and you do that, and you do that with me. Not only did he hear my word, after that week, he cut off all his hair. He changed it, he internalized it, he changed as a human being. In general, I don't expect anything of it. He literally cut off his hair and said to get rid of all these negative things, and that shows like the kind of person that he is. When you speak, he hears you, and he's so honorable. He's an honorable man I ever met. And then later on, when that same girl left me for a friend and moved across the country, I was having a very hard time. And Coral flew me out here to the ranch. I spent a week here, and it healed me more than I could. I've never imagined I had a lot of people that care or close to me that know did what they did for me, and put in that effort. Probably even have that dollar. I don't know. How he got me here, the amount of care he took, and what he showed me, and that's what he gave me. These beads that are very close to him. And anytime I'm having a hard time, I wear these. And that alone just changed my life. And when he was recently going through a tough time, I tried to fly him out. He couldn't do it, he was too busy, but I just want to say, yeah, thank you, brother. I appreciate everyone here, and I appreciate it. This has been very special, very comforting.
I'm going to do it twice. Next time I won't cry as much. I just really wanted to share a story of the mischief that for James. You might be able to help me better with the time frame on this, but I joined your family on a trip to Block Island. And the morning that we were going to, so we arrived on the evening, probably on Friday, and Saturday morning, we were going to spend the day at the beach. And I, of course, thought I should put on some sunscreen. James and I looked, couldn't find sunscreen, but he assured me he had something that would be just as good, and slathered me in tan magnifier. Oh no! Have you never seen me? I'm not a tan magnifier kind of guy. And then that day, we both grabbed a boogie board, and we went down to the ocean, we paddled, and there was a tide that pulled us out. And we must have been maybe a mile out, and 11 to probably 2, we had to paddle back against the tide to the shore. And as you can imagine, I was a little bit red. And James just, again, I think it was mentioned earlier today, the shaking grin that Jim had, and the laughter that he had, the fact that I could not sleep on my back for the rest of the trip. Just enjoyed it took me by supper. But at the same time, just that, I don't know, just the laughter that he brought in the situation that was clearly to me, maybe not available, but yeah, I mean, one of those stories. He always was kind of pushing to the edge.
You just left your message by going up to Tuckerman because you had a speed last year, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was it.
First thing God, what is
Yeah. Jay, well, Dad would say, I was telling this to my wife Addie before we came out. Whenever James and I
he obviously snowboarded. But whenever we got together and went to the mountains, it was the best and most epic time ever. We went to Copper, we met him, and flying into Copper, they did 16 inches of snow, and over the course of the weekend, they got 36 inches of snow. And just like the most epic skiing ever. When we was in Vermont, we went up to Jay, and there was these wind, I've never seen snow that looked like wind-sculpted waves of snow that we could ride. It's literally like we were surfing in the ocean. Yeah. And Tuckerman's was always something we wanted to do. Like I said, he was always crossing trouble. He was trouble we all loved.
Good job.
Yeah, trouble we all wanted to get.
Took me a while to get up here and say anything. I don't think I'm as brave as James was, or is. But I feel like I need to. I've known James for most of my life. As the Lord knows, we met when we were 4 years old. And Liz had moved back to the East Coast and into Glastonbury, Connecticut again. And my mom and her mom had gone to college together, and they kind of magically linked up in Glastonbury, and we became inseparable. And again, lots of mischief. Not all of those are really appropriate for this room. So I won't say them all, but I have a few, maybe especially early childhood here that I told Keezy earlier today, where I remember where Liz and Keezy was really good friends with my sister growing up, and Liz and Keezy and James had come over to our house, and we were all hanging out kind of all independently, my mom and Liz, and Keezy and Elena, my sister, and me and James. And me and James, Elena and Keezy were in her room, and we were convinced that they were up to some sort of nefarious conspiracy. And we took a street hockey stick and charged down the hall in an attempt to break open the door. It didn't work, but we got the door open because we punched a hole through this hollow core door with the end of the street hockey stick. So we got their attention. There was also another time at his grandmother's house, and she had a Volkswagen camper. And me and James thought it looked like a bug of some sort that needed taken care of. And so we proceeded to smash the headlights out on it. And if you all know, like James, which we of course all do, he would have really loved to inherit that car. But we made sure that we, didn't know what we were going to do. So I just thought I would share a few maybe fun stories about growing up with James. There's another one Spencer just reminded me of, where speaking of pillow fights, I think it was James's birthday. We were like 13, and we had like a pillow fight, and of course it escalated, and he started getting me into a chokehold, and he was trying to make me go to sleep. And of course this was a battle of wills, David and Goliath, if you will. So I grabbed James underneath his legs and just sat down on the couch with him. And I think he hyperextended his knee. I hyperextended his knee. Inadvertently, I didn't mean to do that. I was just trying to get him to stop choking. Anyway, rabble rouser, willful and wild. James was those things. But in the best of ways. He pushed your boundaries, he pushed you out of your comfort zone. And the next day, we went rollerblading. And that's a testament to just how tough James was. His knee was not feeling good, but he still jumped up and grinded on, I don't know, curbs or whatever we did back in the day, But I love him, miss him dearly. I don't know what else to say before I start to break down, so I'm just going to go sit down. Thank you all for being here.
this guy behind us starts talking to me, and like it feels like the friendliest person ever. Like I instantly opened up to him, and he was just hanging out like on the rails of this stadium. He just looked like really friendly and just open, and we instantly hit it off. And like a lot happened there, but what ended up is he brought like 3 or 4 guys back to the stronghold, and we had this like amazing time in the strongholds, just talking about life, brotherhood, like living up to our fullest. And it was so impactful that he actually got me to move down here, and he got Grant to move down here at the same time. And there you have it, you have this whole brotherhood, like right here. And I love hearing the stories about his past, because I didn't meet him in that past. I met him in like the man he is now and today, and what that was like to be with him. And the impression that I'm left with when I'm with him was that brotherhood that I had with him, and how he like brought that, he like created this world that was so really loving and caring. And just as much as he held me, he let us hold him too. I remember this one time he was going through a really rough time. Came to me just totally broken and crying, and just part of our connection was just being able to express and be ourselves fully. And the way I felt him in that moment was he was totally present with his experience. Like all the grief and all the sad, like he wasn't like trying to like dissociate and like explain it away or trying to understand. He like fully let that in. And when I think about the men that I know who can do that, like those are some of the strongest men I can think of. Who can fully let in his experience and feel it and be with it, and the movement moves away. And then I could see him like ride up and pull up, bring him like into all its strength and all forward. And that's who I know waters to be. And that's the inspiration I'm carrying with me as part of like our connection and our brotherhood. I know he was always choosing to be his best self and following that. And even to like in the last few years as I knew him, like I knew he was always in that inquiry. How do I show up better? And I know that the show up was like being hard on himself, but I could also see how much he was with his experience. He was also really holding himself. And so yeah, I'm walking away really inspired and touched by him. And carrying that same strength of like, okay, how can I show up just as fully in my experience as you were able to model and share with me. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Story. So like I did a brain scan of what stories can I tell, because there was obviously me and James when we were younger, when we were kids, when we were dating, and you know that this is such a small part of our relationship. It was really a lifelong friendship. But then there was the teenage years when we were friends. I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. We were it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are? We're like, it's 6 a.m. Do you know where your kids are? I don't even know how we ended up at half the places we did, but this is before even having a car. We're at a rave, and I am going to paraphrase so much because the story is hilarious. It encompasses him, but it's just a little bit inappropriate, so we're going to get PG. I was really upset about something. I forget what it was. And, you know, again, James was just, he didn't let you have a bad time. He just wouldn't. He was like the Energizer Bunny. So whatever you were feeling messed up about, he was going to make you laugh. So we were at this party. I believe it was Club Chaos in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Springfield?
Yeah.
Well, the
one of the pictures that's on the loop is us on a Greyhound bus to 2 in New York City, 50 or 40. I don't, trust me, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. So, I don't know, I was just like in a bummed out mood, and we were taking different kinds of substances, and I don't know, James has never had a fear of anything, like at all. He was the guy that would run up to the edge and jump off of it just to show you how great it is. And so anyways, during this exchange of things, he's like, hey, listen, no, you should probably chill out. He's just like, no, you don't want me, I got this. And so I'm sitting across the dance floor. I'm watching him, he's across the dance floor, sitting on a speaker, about the distance that you and I are right now. And, you know, he's trying to act all normal, like he's fine. And he starts pulling out the string, and he's like, flowing. I'm like, what is he doing? Then he realizes it's stuck. So then he unties it, and then he pulls it all the way out. And he's got the string in his hand, and he looks at the floor, and he sees glow stick. You have to keep in mind, I'm also not in the best mood, but I want to make sure he's okay, because I don't want to be in trouble when he comes home. So, snatches glow stick, ties it to the end, and he sees another abandoned glow stick on the ground. And this is a time where, like, I'd say that these days, these kids, the lights they have now to play with, what we had back in the day, we just had shake and crack glow sticks. So he's like, boom, grabs it, and ties a knot at the end. And I'm watching across the room. What the heck is he doing? He's weaving it through his sleeve, then pulling the other string out the other sleeve. So he now has 2 glow sticks. And I can't story tell this from here on out because I can just show it because there's no words. It's just James. I'm in a pissy mood. And he is literally like, and I'm like, we are so, you are so, it's like, and he just starts bouncing around like a little freaking bunny rabbit. And, you know, we didn't have cameras. Like, I have 2 pictures I put up here because that's all I have. Because everything is in here. And it's been incredible to watch that 25 years of life. James is still that Energizer bunny, bouncing on the dance floor, getting into trouble. Hopefully not as much trouble. I hope 20, 30, and 40-year-old James has more restraint than teenager James. But he just never let anybody have a bad time. I know we all have our trauma and our pain and suffering that we dealt with. We grew up during a really, really weird time. We're like the Goonie generation. You know, we're not quite Gen X, we're not quite millennials, we're just that unattended generation between. And growing up in Glastonbury, like, we dealt with a lot of challenging, crazy stuff that children should have never had to unpack. And he knew I was dealing with a lot of heavy stuff, but being around him, it's like I didn't have to deal with heavy stuff. He delayed a lot of my mental suffering and pain for so long, even in his long-distance friendship with me. It took me literally doing ayahuasca, thanks, Gretchen, doing ayahuasca, and literally just spending 6 days regurgitating freaking tableside, and to realize I had pain. There's something very magical about a person that can delay your pain for decades. And that's, you know, again, spending so much time with a lot of people that I barely knew, that I just knew through, you know, social media, to just see like, wow, he like consistently did that with everybody. Every person he touched. No one had a bad time. I think because me and James knew each other from the time we were young, we didn't have cameras to snap pictures of our memories and our fun. We just had what was in our head and our broken bones and angry moms. And spending all this time with everybody, scanning everything. Literally went through Coral social media and just like really just kind of ingested everything. I did periodically throughout his life just because we've been on opposite ends of the country. And I mean, like there isn't a beautiful, warm, beautiful soul, and it's just like, it's like every century there's like a handful of incredible people that are born. And I truly felt in my heart that James is one of those incredible people that, you know, right up there with people that change things civically, musically, artistically. Like, he was really special. I couldn't travel anywhere in this country where I wouldn't bump into someone that knew me. It was at Burning Man. It was at Burning Man, and I met James for 11 years. Dude, he got caught. He's like, there's a conflict with my fish schedule. And so he didn't go. But I was hanging out with an art installation that, and it was early in the week. There wasn't a ton of people there yet. And there was this particular art installation that it had a bunch of writing and had some markers in the middle of the room, and then everybody in every language had to write what they wanted to do before they died. And so, you know, obviously I don't want to be narcissistic and think about just what I want to write. So I wanted to read everybody's stuff. Read all the English. Tell my mom I love them. Tell my dad I love them. Make peace with my friends. Whatever it is, you know, it was all the same. Then when I ran out of English, I started reading Spanish. And then when there was no other languages that I knew, I met this man from Israel, and he started translating all the things that were in Hebrew, and he knew Italian, and he was translating all the things that were in Italian. And so all the things that were written down, it didn't matter what culture, where people were from, all people wanted the same things. It was a beautiful freaking moment. And so I start talking to this guy that I just met about James. This man isn't even from his country. He knew James. He wasn't even on social media. It was just like I said 3 words and he knew exactly who I was talking about. This was 2017. 2017. And that's an incredible human being. I've lived a crazy life, and I've been all over the place, but I have struggled to find somebody that made that kind of impact. Your son, your brother, your friend, whoever he was to you, he was so special. And this is probably the closest I've ever felt to him, just being able to be here. So, all the other inappropriate stories, all can just come up later, because there are children present. Your uncle was cool. He was so good. And I don't know any of you kids, but I gotta tell you, like, just looking at your faces, see James stole your face and stole Benjamin's face too. Man, we've got it. Yeah, I can see that when the way your face lights up when you talk about it.
And they're smart.
Yes, there are. Genes are good. Genes are good. Listen, the apples and ballpark. I'm going to stop talking because I'm going to start rambling, but I'm just so unsatisfied that this is where we're at, and so I'm going to make a promise to myself that I'm not going to just let this be like, all right, hit the thing and walking away. I am going to come here every year, so I can honor him and I can celebrate him. I haven't been to Burning Man in years, and I think it's time to make a new tradition. And his birthday's in August, my birthday's in August. I'm August 9th, 3 weeks older than James.
Yeah.
And make new traditions. Person that powerful, it's a kind of fire that can't burn out. And again, I'm very, very, very sorry for all the sleepless nights, the ones that I contributed to. I know the guys are responsible for their own ones, but
You were one too many. We all have James' words. I'll have water stories. And we're kind of hatching an idea today, and I've talked to the boys, other people, about how can we do more, how can we magnify, how can we keep them alive, how can we just had this idea, let's write a story, let's make a book called Water, where the waters flow, and do something good with it. What if we could do something over the top with it? Just start little, worldwide, write your stories, name an address, just let it be. We'll see what happens with it. We don't know, but just do something really good with it.
Maybe organize like a place where we can submit like either an email or a website.
Or Q is like, beyond this guy, he's so good at it. It's just an idea, it's just a little tiny, just a little love seed, just a little book.
I think you would like that idea too.
If not you, then who?
I have 4 anecdotes of my brother. And they're funny, but they're also endearing. And he could do so many things at the same time. There's one time I was away at school, and Garrett called me in the middle of the night. And so I get this very early morning call. And so we lived at the time at the top of a very tall hill. And I think he had snow. And on his way back up, halfway up the hill, he stopped to rest. But unfortunately, he stopped by a skunk and got sprayed. And it was just luck. And he made it back to the top of the hill, and he thought it maybe was just on his clothes, so he stripped in the driveway and scaled a cherry tree in the backyard, and then across a couple of roofs, and then in through a levered bathroom window, and then tried to take a shower to get it all off, but that didn't work. And the musk stuck. And he snuck out and got a phone, went back to the bathroom, and called me. And he said, I don't know what to do. We got to figure this out. And what do you think I can do to get rid of this as long as you find out? Buddy, I love you. Mom knows. Well aware already, and she might be at the door already because skunk in is stronger than skunk outside. And I said, I'll be home in the morning. I was a couple hours away. And I drove down first thing in the morning, and we worked all weekend to get that skunk spray out. And he lamented over that, and he thought about that a lot, and we shared that story a lot, and it lingered in the house for 6 months.
You knew how we got from the bottom of Nipsic Road to the top of the hill, right? He got in the car with these 2 very rich, kick-ass kids in a sporty little car, and they, oh, you need a ride? Come on in. What was it? Not even an eighth of a mile to the top of the hill.
They couldn't make it.
Keeping with the skunk theme and rolling back the years, we lived in a house that was near a place called a creek, really, called Roaring Brook. And one of our favorite things to do was to just go out and play and pretend. And there's this plant there called skunk cabbage. And we loved to make bouquets of skunk cabbage for my mom. And we would bring them home. And it was a little rascal, but it was also so endearing because the thought was truly there. We were making bouquets for mom. And then when we were with our dad, we'd make him breakfast in bed. But we'd scramble the eggs and basil and garnet and some tomatoes. And then as an accompanying side dish, we mixed together black olives and anchovies. And my dad would eat it all. He would eat it all and he would say thank you. And it was funny, but it was so endearing. Something that he did for his family, his style. And there's the last few days. There's this one time I'm more reserved than my brother, and more quiet than my brother. And there was this one time in high school that someone was giving me a really hard time, and my brother was in middle school, and I came home and I didn't talk about it, but he found out, and he got so mad. And he went and confronted this high schooler as this much smaller, younger middle schooler, and no one was going to pick on his big sister. And I don't remember the meme, and I don't remember the who, but I remember my brother.
Yeah.
I remember my brother, and it's amazing.
Okay. Well, as I said before, we know that we probably keep telling stories all night long. And we will keep telling stories all night long. But we do have a wonderful potluck and food over here in the mess hall for us to keep going and keep telling stories. Keep showing James how much we love him. May we all keep recording these stories. Keep telling these stories. Keep remembering him for who he is. And on the back table, there's kyanite, his favorite stone. Kyanite helps you to absorb your worries and helps you to be strong and helps you to move forward. So please take a piece and carry it with you. And remember James.
Okay. Also, these charcoal paintings, I have commissioned done of waters, and I am offering, I want to give Liz and Kesey and Ben and Dad all a copy of them, but if anybody else would like one, you can email me. I would love to get the file forward, and then you can get them printed. We had them printed on like 100 weight, nice paper, and then we can have it framed and give it to you. So if you are interested at all, just reach out to me.
And there's a little booklet as you go out on the table, the multi-colored table. You can help yourself to a booklet if you haven't already gotten one.
Yeah.
Sorry, I haven't had my phone back. Thank you for being here.